What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Around the Monitor for the week of April 16th. I'm your host, Zach, and this is the weekly gaming news talk show where every point you make in the discussion is a point towards winning. How things work here, we talk through the week's news in gaming. As somebody makes a good, interesting point or a joke, I give them an actual point, and whoever has the most at the end of the show wins for that week. If you're watching the show live, which you can do so on twitch.tv/savedatateam every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you can vote along with our channel points to influence the scores to take away or detract from whoever you like. It's a complete shit show. Joining us once again, we've got the world's #1 Psychonauts 2 fan, David.
Cheers to Pfizer. Thank you for a second dose coming later this week. Awesome, thank you.
Hey. We've got the voice of Miles Edgeworth himself, Wes.
Hey, what's going on?
We've got this schlub, Chris.
Wow. It's Thursday. You know what that means. Fun thing about my life is today I looked at the name Jeff, Geoff, and my brain corrected it to Goofy.
Wow.
That's a true thing that happened to me today.
The runner, the showrunner of the Summer Game Fest, Goofy Keeley.
Goof Keeley.
And last but not least, the hockey sticks and sickle herself, Elise.
Jumping from one Monster Hunter to another these days.
You can't keep
But
a good
sometimes I
hunter
can play
down.
as a cat.
But if this is your first time watching, we always start the show with a trivia question to determine the order. And this week's trivia question in the news, we've got some stuff about Epic Games. And, obviously the Epic Game Store has been around for some time. It is now ingrained in PC gaming culture. My question to you all is, as of the end of 2020, how many games are on the Epic Game Store?
Oh. It has to be more than the amount of PSVR games, right?
wasn't that like 60 somehow?
No, it was 600.
Yeah, it was really high.
Oh my!
I think you guessed 60.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, probably. Are there more than 600 games in the Epic Game Store? See, I'd open it up to cheat right now, but that would take roughly 35 minutes for it to open because it's a terrible fucking platform.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 730.
730. Elise, what did you say again?
I said 1,300.
1,300. Okay, Wes.
I'm Zach. There's really only one number I can go with, and I think that's 1 billion.
Okay, going in last place this week, Wes.
He's taking the Jason tactic of intentionally go last so I have time to read the topics. Go ahead. I'll take a nice round 1,000.
Nice round 1,000. The correct answer, 471. Not that many games.
Damn.
What the fuck?
There are fewer games on the Epic Game Store than there are PSVR games. Let that fucking sink
Yeah.
in.
And as we'll talk about in a few minutes, and they've burned how much money on these games?
Right. That means the correct order for the show will be David, followed by Chris, followed by Elise, followed by Wes. Let's talk about this week's topics. We've got Riot is making a League of Legends cinematic universe with live action characters. That's
because
a
you
choice.
all asked for it. You all demanded. You all begged in the streets for live action.
Starting very soon, some classic Ubisoft games are going to be losing their online multiplayer servers. Days Gone 2 would have had a co-op mode and a shared universe, but it turns out the game is not being greenlit. Sony Bend is not making a Days Gone 2. Not content with just Fortnite, Ryu and Chun-Li from Street Fighter are going to be coming to the Power Rangers fighting game. Something the grid, nobody really cares. Nobody's playing this game,
Battle
folks.
for the Grid, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it
It's
is.
actually a relatively popular game
Is it free
in
to play?
terms of fighting games.
Is that true?
Isn't it mobile?
It's on Game Pass.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. We've got a new PlayStation 5 update that adds storage options, but not the ones that people were asking for. The new BioShock game might be open world, according to a new job listing. CD Projekt Red's CEO says that, quote, giving up on Cyberpunk 2077 is not an option. Epic is losing over $300 million in paying for exclusives for the aforementioned Epic Game Store. PlayStation wants to get into mobile games. Also, PlayStation is doubling down on its big tentpole franchises, remaking The Last of Us.
PlayStation wants money.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Good word. Tent poles.
The tentpoles for the circus. Twitch is getting bigger, but Facebook gaming is starting to overtake YouTube streaming service. What does this mean for YouTube streaming service? And last but not least, Nintendo's president, who nobody remembers the name of because he's not Satoru Iwata, wants to focus on new IP for the company.
It's Satoru Hinata.
Wow.
Anyway, take a point away
Wait,
from
no,
Wes.
that's Nintendo America.
Wow. I thought that joke was excellent, but
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Thank you. Take a point away from Chris. Red
Damn it.
Dan in the
The
chat
counter
says,
does support negative numbers.
it does. Dan in the chat says, Days Gone, more like Days Gone, am I right? No, take away a point from Dan.
Nice.
That joke sucked.
I love because the image I'm thinking of is someone like Days Gone opens up book labeled Days Gone jokes. All pages are blank. Fuck.
David, that does mean you get to pick the first topic. What would you like to talk about for your first topic of the show?
Something we literally never do.
Oh,
I would like to talk about the stream title topic first.
What?
Ooh.
Tell us about
that would
Sony.
be, yeah, that'd be Sony doubling down on their tentpole franchises, which means more Last of Us,
Mhm.
fortunately or unfortunately, depending on where you sit on that game.
Mhm.
Listen, this is in a different story, I think, with Days Gone 2 dying.
Mhm.
But like, Sony's like, hey, games that sell really well, we want to make sequels and do more stuff with them because they do great. So
Mhm.
they're gonna make more Last of Us. They're
Yeah.
remaking Last of Us. The game's not that old.
7 years.
It's 7 years old, and it got remastered for PS4 like the year it came out, or a year
Yeah,
after
the
it
year
came
after.
out already. So you can already play it on PS5. It got performance enhancements for PS5, like to this remaster game that's like 6 years old. And they still won't give fucking Bloodborne 60 FPS mode, but whatever. Like, Sony has become completely obsessed with Last of Us. Like, Last of Us Part 2 was crazy high budget, and granted, it was the most beautiful game I've probably ever played, but also not a fun game. Don't at me. And they just want to remake a 7-year-old game. I don't get it. They had a whole separate studio that was being built up to remake this game before they seemingly let go of everyone at that studio, and Naughty Dog is now taking over development. Because yes, Sony, that's what you want to do. You want to take your marquee tentpole developer, and instead of having them make cool new stuff, go back and remake the things they already did. Why? This is so dumb on so many
Yeah.
levels. We don't want it. We don't want Naughty Dog to be the ones working on it, because they could be making something new and cool. They made Last of Us. They made Uncharted. They made Jack. Let them do a new IP. Let them go back to something else they want to do. Don't just remake this game. And along with this, apparently Bend had been working on like an Uncharted game at one point. Like, they're really just focusing on everything Naughty Dog has ever touched,
Mhm.
which I think is just a huge mistake. And I'm really feeling like they're going back to being hubris-filled pre-PlayStation 3 Sony, mixed with like Xbox One era Xbox, where they're super proud of themselves because they just came off a big winning generation. Like, the 360 era for Xbox had been huge. They were winning.
Mhm.
They got rid of a bunch of their smaller studios, just totally let them go. And they're like, we're going to focus on the big tentpoles, Halo and Gears. Well, do I need to tell you all how the Xbox One did initially? Or even now? Didn't do great. And I'm starting to feel like that's the direction Sony's going in, and I don't like it because I bought a PS5 and not an Xbox Series X. So
Yeah.
if they could just reverse, that'd be cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The most frustrating thing about this whole story is that Naughty Dog themselves is making the remake. Fucking just have another studio, which they did. They had another studio
Well,
working on this, and they took them off of it.
They had another studio working on it, but Naughty Dog was advising. And let me tell you, if you take a game that someone worked on and have someone else working on it, to remake it,
Mhm.
but the original creators are there to advise. The original creators are just telling you what to do. Like it's
Exactly.
their project. It's like their baby. You can't do anything new without their approval. So like,
Right.
give it to somebody else. Take it away from Naughty Dog.
I agree. And yeah, I mean, obviously they're one of the better game studios. Period. I would love to see them work on another new game, not this old thing again.
Make
but-
something new and cool, not old.
Exactly. Catching
New
up.
old because once again very young.
I
It's
see
true.
people in the chat talking about a Jack remake, and I'm all for that.
I think
Yeah.
that's
That'd
probably
be
Jack
great.
Dagger was-
It's not happening.
Jack and Daxter
Jack-
was one of my absolute favorite games when I was younger, and I would love to see a modern interpretation, or even just like a sequel, something else in that universe, because it baffled me that Ratchet and Clank was the series that
That
lived
lived.
on
Yeah.
of that era, because it was like Jack, Ratchet and Clank, and there's one other
Spyro.
that was kind of that was like in that
Spyro was
vein.
before that.
Yeah, I guess
but-
that's true.
It baffled me that it was
Sly
Ratchet
Cooper.
and Clank that continued and not
Oh
Jack and
yes, like
Daxter.
Cooper.
Mark gives a point to Wes for making good points. And
I
RK
do
fan
make good points, like a good boy.
and RK gives Chris a point for finally remembering Sly Cooper's existence.
In my defense, I was on a phone call for that entire topic.
Chris, it is your turn to talk. What would you like to talk about next?
Let's just hold the band-aid, get it over with. Riot Games is making a League of Legends cinematic universe. Okay, sounds great. We know they're making that anime. They probably got some more CG stuff in the way. It's live action. Yeah, that's right, you motherfuckers. Live action League of Legends. You're gonna see all those Lux skins in glorious 4K
Oh,
on
God.
fucking who's that lady I hate that can't act?
Scarlett Johansson.
No, the other one.
Gwyneth Paltrow?
Game of Thrones lady. I don't care.
Oh, Amelia Clark.
Oh, Amelia Clark.
Amelia Clark's shitty acting all up on the big screen.
Take away all of Chris's points. She's a sweetheart.
I don't
Wait.
care. I'm sure she's a great person. She can't act.
Wait, Wes, are you
she's
huge
adorable.
Amelia Clark stan?
Oh, I'd stand Amelia Clark all day, every day.
Okay.
Anyway, they're making a
She's
League of
the
Legends
cutest.
movie. Sorry, a cinematic universe, multiple movies, multiple shows, all in planning. They are hiring for various roles that involve this, which means these are going to be internal. That's right, baby. Internal League of Legends movies. That a Riot Games joint. And look, we talk way too much about video game movies to the point where they probably have their own segment because they're not really video games news anymore because they're very rarely are they like tangentially related. I've worked in production for a long time. That has nothing to do with this. I have no faith in this. It's going to be terrible. There's no way you can have Riot Games in charge of it and make it good. That being said, if Riot Games' writing department is allowed to simply flex on them, because like they're talented writers, they can do stuff. There's cool lore in that game. None of it is used anywhere else because of Riot Games. So I have no faith. This isn't just going to be some bullshit Hollywood cash grab garbage. And like the opposite wants to say, okay, but at least they're the ones doing it. So like it's not like some coked up Holly exec like, what do the kids want? The League of Legends? Sure. Shit out of script will get out in May. It's at least like, it's coming from their internal development, but Riot Games loves money. And what do they love money more than? Everything. They do not care. That being said, hey Riot Games, it's me, your boy Chris. If you guys would like to cast some people for the live action remake of the hit D&D podcast Tales from Runeterra, I have some casting selections for you. Starting off, Yarno, played by Danny DeVito.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
Deltram,
And-
played by internet star Hio590.
Oh, you got it. You got to cast him.
Akram, played by Dave Bautista.
Also a good choice. I like that.
Ebrak,
And our very own Zach as Zach.
hold on, you're stepping all over my bits. Ebrak, played by the Street Sharks.
Yep.
And Basilio, played by Zach
Listen,
Braff.
fuck you. Oh, you got me on that one. You got me good. You got me good.
Wes, thank you for the assist, good sir.
I hate you, but you got me good on that. I'm glad you brought up Tales from Runeterra because I was going to as a joke, but
Sorry,
Also-
what show
I'm
was
glad
that?
you cast animated sharks for the live action.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything else is live action. There's just sometimes animated sharks.
The chat does take away a point from Riot Games for choosing live action, and Dan does give a point to Chris for being correct. She's sweet, but a bad actor. There we go. Sorry, Amelia.
Sorry about it.
Zach, may I follow up on something really quick?
Sure.
On this topic,
Sure.
because I just have a point that I want to make desperately about this.
Okay.
That I really hope, because I know there's been a lot of scandal with Riot Games in their workplace practices.
Mhm.
So this is like on a serious note, on their sexism in the workplace, and I'm really hopeful. I hope that Riot Games is a little bit better about this with their writing department in casting and writing these shows that they're
Ooh,
doing.
Will
I
they
hope that they
be?
start getting. Yeah, that's the thing. I really hope that they start putting not only some people of color in the writing room, but some women in the writing room, because that's a huge thing that I feel like Riot is lacking, is that viewpoint on their content. And here's the thing. The shitty thing is, I feel like regardless, it's gonna sell. That's
yeah,
that's
you're right.
the shitty
Mhm.
thing about it.
If
Is
it
that
doesn't,
they're
if it
so
doesn't do well in
big
the U.S., it'll do gangbusters in China.
in Korea.
China, yeah.
And
Yeah,
Korea,
China and
probably.
Korea.
Oh, and Korea too, yeah.
So that's the thing, is I'm crossing my fingers that Riot grows a heart, but damn it if I don't think it's gonna happen.
How much you
Uh,
all want to bet Scarlett Johansson gets casted as a person of color?
Ooh.
Oh,
I was gonna say,
yeah.
so like League has
Yeah,
enough.
she'll be like an Ionian or
No,
something.
she'll be a Yordle.
Okay, I'm fine with that though. I'm fine with that though. That's fine.
But not like an
That's
animated
perfect.
Yordle that she voices. She'll actually be a Yordle.
Damn it! Now I want Danny DeVito to be a Yordle.
Oh, see, this is
For
good.
real, though.
All movies are better if Danny DeVito is involved. Also, quick reminder that this is not being made for us by any means.
True.
Riot Games makes twice as much money as they do worldwide just from the Korea and China servers.
Right.
And then the average Chinese person watches 12 times the number of movies in a year that an American does. This is not made for us. They don't
Wow.
care about us. It's a bigger market over there.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, whatever. No one
Yeah,
cares.
it's true.
Like, this is not for us. They don't care about us. They care about that sweet money, cha-ching, baby.
Catching back up with the chat, RK Fan does give Chris a point for the Zach Braff joke. Sheep Shoop gives a point to Elise because she doesn't have any, and then immediately takes it away for trolling. Okay, Sheep Shoop.
Damn.
Thank you.
Times is
I guess-
rough out here.
Thank you, and then dang.
And last but not least, is it Squirrel? Yeah, Squirreler season
Squirrels. Oh yeah, Squirrel, you're right. What the hell?
gives a point to Wes for the real talk that needed to be said. There we go. Elise, it is time for you to get some points. So please, what would you like to talk about for your first topic of the show?
All right, let's stay on the games preservation bit.
Oh yeah.
Ubisoft is taking a bunch of games offline. Bunch of old games, bunch of games no one plays, and that's especially no one plays online. These games are, I'll just read them out. Assassin's Creed 2, Prince of Persia, Forgotten Sands, Far Cry 2, Anno 1404, Might and Magic, Clash of Heroes, Splinter Cell Conviction, The Settlers 7, and Might and Magic X Legacy. Or Might and Magic 10 Legacy, not sure which that is.
Mm.
Some of these are great games. Most of them are not online games. But what they are removing in those is the ULC, the unlockable content, which is like all of basically the DLC, the like extra skins, extra missions in some of these, extra even if you own them, even if you have bought them, they will be locked out.
Oh shit.
If you have them, they'll be available until if you have them on a save file,
Mhm.
until you reset the save file.
Okay.
Which sucks.
Yes.
Some of these are good games, but even if they're not good games, just on principle, like
Mhm.
it's a really hard thing because especially modern games, especially like games as a service, they evolve, they change, they've got new stuff like added on. It would be pretty much impossible to effectively preserve something like Destiny or an MMO. But with these games, just like fucking, if you're gonna remove online, you should do two things. One, make sure all the content is always available. So if you take it online, just fucking give that to everyone. Give all the DLC, all the unlockable content. Like, you're not making money on it anyway. And I know they'll never do this because capitalism. But
Right.
you're not making money on it anyway. What is the harm in just making sure it's always available, just part of the base game? And two, before you go offline, like in a game with servers or anything, make those servers like open source or make those servers available to be run by the community so that if I want to play fucking Anno 1404 or Settlers 7 online, I can either set up a server to play with a friend or find someone online in because every game has fans. Find the Settlers 7 community. even the worst games, and I'm pretty sure Settlers 7 is not very good. Even the worst games have fans. Find that fucking community, and I'm sure there'll be 5 people online.
Yeah. I mean,
in some fan server somewhere.
hey, listen, there are ways that you can actually emulate and play, what is it? Kirby Air Ride online multiplayer, which is buck wild, and I need to do that
Hell
because
yeah.
that game is incredible. Basically, a lot of the chat is totally agreeing with you. Dan gives you a point. Any game that relies on a central server is doomed for the chopping block unless the publishers or devs have an end-of-life plan. Even if a game isn't great, it deserves to be preserved. There's a chance that killing games like this is legitimately fraud and potentially illegal. It would be very interesting to see that tested in court, but
I don't think it would hold up in court, but it is like a valid point that
yeah,
because capitalism owns the world, but you can't win that argument saying I bought this game 12 years ago, like in court. I should always be able to play it, but it is a valid argument.
Totally. Mark also gives a point. Dan gives a point to Mark for pointing out the necessity of preserving Flash games, which, yeah, sadly, a lot of them just disappeared this year. Sheep Shoot does give a point. Elise is making a really good point of how companies aren't making from old games, but get pissy when something happens to them. Are making money from old games, but gets pissy when something's happening to them. True. And speaking of the dangers and the terrible things of capitalism, Wes, what would you like to talk about for your first topic of the show?
Let's talk about because this has probably been talked about on this show since I've been here.
Okay,
I haven't been here in a while.
It's
but
true.
I'll talk a little bit about the CD Projekt Red stuff.
Yes.
And Cyberpunk 2077, because I'm sure that's been something that's been talked about a lot.
Oh yeah.
I'll give my 2 cents on it since I haven't talked about it on this show. In particular, they're talking about not giving up on it as a project. My roommate is a huge, enormous fan of Cyberpunk 2077.
Really?
He claims he thinks it's his favorite game.
Wow.
Yes. So, and I've had a lot of talks about why that is and why that might
Sorry to interrupt. Is he being held at gunpoint right now?
True. Like, I have not yet played the game because I have a fundamental principle against buying broken video games.
Hey.
But there's something I want to make one point very clear, and that is CD Projekt Red is not doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. They're not making this game better because they want to make sure that the players playing the game are enjoying the game to its fullest. They're making this game better because they have sunk so much investor time and money into this game that if it doesn't do well at some point in the future, it can completely bankrupt the company and destroy them. So it's fine. Their claim that they want to take the time to make it better, sure. Take the time to make it better. We've seen games that's happened with. We've seen No Man's Sky. We've seen I can't think of any other example. There are many examples of games that on release are absolute horseshit, and then after a few years become something that is playable and that people actually Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is another one.
Yes.
Apparently Sea of Thieves is amazing now and people really, really enjoy it. It's creating a precedent in the video game industry that's really, really frustrating, which is there are no consequences for releasing a shitty game at launch
Yes.
because now game studios can just say, "Oh, we're just going to make it better eventually." And there's not a whole lot that can be done about that with the way that downloadable content and patches work in today's day and age in the modern era of video games. But it's something that I feel like my roommate just touts this video game. And every time he does, I usually am I want to tell him like, "Hey, that's fine. I hope you realize that it is a affront to the thing that we love." Like what they've done
It's an affront against
is
God and man.
it is unforgivable. It is the essence of sin. Satan himself backed this game. But it's really frustrating because I see stuff like this happen, and it's this sense of buying something, liking something, and wanting to kind of get behind it and be like, well, everyone else hates it, so I want to love it. But you have to make sure to curb that and understand that when a company promises something and then doesn't deliver on it, you shouldn't praise them for what could be. You need to praise them or deny them for what is in front of you. And I'm sure Cyberpunk is going to end up being an incredible video game. I really am. I think in 2 or 3 years' time, Cyberpunk is going to be an awesome first-player shooting RPG experience, better than Mass Effect when it was in its heyday. It's going to take 2 or 3 years after it came out.
Right.
And that's unacceptable because people already bought the damn game. And as a quick little thing, a company that I think does an amazing job of stuff like this is Larian Studios. The people who make they made Divinity Original Sin,
Divinity.
and they are currently making Baldur's Gate 3. They are an incredible company in terms of transparency with their release schedules and what they're planning on doing with the game. Baldur's Gate 3 is in early access right now, and they tell everybody, "Oh yeah, this game is not done.
Yes.
We want you to play it because we want to know from you what we should do to make it better." Which is the way to fucking release a game instead of saying, "Oh yeah, it's done. Just fucking play it maybe and it's good." I don't know.
It's like when Fallout 76 came out, and obviously there was a big, fucking kerfuffle with how that game was not really ready for prime time yet. It was the thing where, like, if they had just said, "Oh, hey, it's in early access," I think so much of the blowback on that game would have been relieved for them. But AAA companies are so afraid of using that term, whereas indies Larian's not a small studio. Let's be clear, but like, not your major AAA outlets are so fine with using that, and because of that, their audiences are so open and welcoming to issues with games, and it's frustrating to see studios not.
I think also with major studios, nobody wants to be the first one to go, "We're doing an early access thing. It's good, big early access," because then everyone's gonna be like, "Fuck you, you're AAA. Why do you early access? I'll kill you."
I guarantee if EA announced they were releasing a game in early access, they would be fucking destroyed.
Well, they also can't do it because their initials are EA.
And
just the shit posting, the level of shit posting.
I thought EA stood for eat ass.
Well, yeah, they do
I would
two
give you
things
one
as a
for
company.
that.
They skate fast and they eat ass.
God damn it. If only. Mark gives a point, says, can confirm Sea of Thieves is amazing now.
Shout out to Mark.
And Mackie says, what if you made the Book of Eli, but instead of guarding a Bible, the main protagonist is guarding a copy of their favorite defunct video game?
Brink.
Isn't that just me and Psychonauts?
Yes, kind of.
The Book of David.
Dan says, I'm having a hard time finding the fact that it takes hundreds of thousands of hours of work to create something like Cyberpunk at release. So, of course, making anything new won't come through in time. And the sunk cost fallacy now that it's already released and you can't take that back. Rock in a hard place. Yes, I think that's 100% where CDPR now finds themselves.
You just have to wait for modders to fix everything.
Yeah,
Like that's the
Bethesda
end of the
strategy.
day. Yeah, exactly. The Skyrim strategy.
Yeah,
Mods will make our game entertaining.
for sure. Sibylla gives a point to Wes for the eat ass joke. Yeah,
Moving on. I'm going to talk about Epic Games and their literal chest load of money.
Their V-Bucks.
God, I hate that they're called that.
Yeah, it's the worst.
So many reasons. So if you haven't heard, Epic spent a lot of money to get all those Epic Store exclusives. Shocker. But up until this week, we didn't know how much because that's not something people usually disclose. But
Right.
thanks to the ongoing legal battle of stupidity between Epic and Apple,
I can't
we
believe
found
this is still
out.
happening.
I can't believe it's still happening, but whatever. I don't care. They're both horrible. Just set them both on fire. But we found out that in 2020 alone, Epic Games committed to at least, and so this is minimum guarantees for games that are picked up when they're free. So this could be higher than this number. They spent at least $444 million on these minimum guarantees.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of money. Makes sense when you're giving away a free game like every other week, but that's a lot of money. Now, they took in total $700 million off of the Epic Games Store for PC. But most of that was for their own games. So Fortnite, Rocket League, that's it right now. I guess Fall Guys, once that's in there and everything.
Right.
So third-party spending was only $265 million, which basically rounds out to they ended up eating at least $330 million based on how much they're spending here, which is big old chunk of change. Guess what? Epic has more money than God, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
When they call this a loss, it's not a loss. It's an investment. So yeah, they know they're going to lose money at the start of this. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure all of us knew that they're going to lose money at the start of it. But if they want to catch up to Steam and eventually make money on the Epic Games Store on PC, you have to spend a fuckload of money to make that happen. And I think over the course of the past year, they've learned how to spend their money, and that buying up games that were previously announced to be coming to Steam makes people pissed, and they've stopped doing that, which is good. So I think they're learning. I do think it's good for Steam to have competition because let's be real, Steam fucking sucks too. It really does. Have you tried the chat's not great. The voice chat is still terrible after like 15 years. Like Steam, not a fantastic platform. It's good, but like it's not great. Epic Games Store, worse right now. Eventually it's gonna catch up. They're spending $300 and something million to get it that way. Probably significantly more than that. So in the end, I think it's cool that Epic's spending this money. I think it's cool that a lot of indie games are getting funding and able to continue to eat because of this. I do think this lawsuit with Apple is fucking stupid, but you know,
Yeah.
at least if we get nothing else out of this lawsuit, at least we get like random glimpses into data and numbers that we wouldn't normally be able to see from the outside.
True.
So I imagine this isn't the first peak we're going to get. I'm pretty sure we're going to get to peek at more numbers throughout the next probably year or two that this stupid legal battle happens.
Yeah.
And maybe
because, like, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe by the end of the next couple years, the Epic Games Store will not suck.
Maybe.
Probably not, but maybe.
Chris, what would you like to talk about for your second topic?
Oh, let's talk about those damn Nintendogs. So Nintendo's president wants to focus on new IPs,
Mhm.
and I assume as he announced that, a hush befell all of the Nintendo offices because the concept of making something new after a Nintendo, everyone quickly looks over to the ARMS office. Oh no, it's empty. They've all been fired. Looks over to the Splatoon office. Oh no, they're all in France. What do we do? And honestly, as much as I love new IPs, and I think that it's ridiculous that we don't get new IPs anymore. I mean, we talked about this recently with we got 2 new IPs last gen. It was Horizon and Jedi Fallen Order, and one of those is just more Star Wars.
I'm sure there was more than those two.
There was barely anything else. If so, it's not memorable enough for me to remember it.
Days Gone.
Sure, exactly. I rest my case. But what this really says to me, and this is the saddest thing, is this is it. This is the nail in the coffin. F-Zero, Star Fox, probably Metroid.
No.
You're dead. I'm sorry, you're dead. And this does follow the trend of a new president taking over the company and then making a somewhat radical change to how Nintendo does stuff. After a couple years, the last guy was Kimishima, whose decision was to give everyone sweet asses. I mean, focus on open world game design.
Boo, boo.
And before that, it was Iwata doing Iwata things. But this is the guy who is a primary owner of the Pokemon Company. That's kind of his whole thing of how he worked his way into Nintendo.
Mhm.
I don't know how that affects anything, but considering that Pokemon even went with the open world design in the last gen, I think that basically that says all current IPs holding pattern. You do you do what you just did until we change our mind again. And for these new IPs, pray to God you have the lasting power of Zelda, Mario, and Pokemon. Otherwise, you're getting axed just like ARMS did.
I think I agree with you 100% of okay, how much are they really going to do? But if you look at it, they did have Splatoon last gen, and
That was 2 gens ago.
That was Wii U.
Yeah.
Wii U was last gen.
Wait.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, that's
fair.
They operate on a weird gen cycle. So you're right.
And then I guess GameCube was 2 gens ago. I was gonna say Pikmin before that, but
GameCube is 2 gens ago.
yeah, dang.
Oh,
Yeah, I guess
3
that's it.
gens ago. What?
No, that's 3 gens ago because
Yeah.
Wii U,
We exist.
Exactly. That's what I meant.
Zach, I know you hate it, but the Wii does exist.
it is the best-selling console besides the 3DS.
Yeah. Well, should have had better games. Anything else to add to that?
No, I spent so long preparing a goofy joke, I didn't even get to use it.
Nope.
You
Too
still
bad.
forced it in though. You
Yeah,
still
too
forced
bad.
it in.
Chris, you yucked up.
I yucked up.
You yucked
simply.
up. Exactly. Elise, maybe you can work Goofy into your topic. Please don't. What would you like to talk about?
Let's talk about Power Rangers Battle for the Grid.
Oh, wow. I didn't think anybody was going to talk about this topic.
Yeah, I've played this game.
Oh, okay.
Not extensively, but I've played it. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is a very competent fighting game.
Okay.
And they are getting Ryu and Chun-Li.
Mm-hmm.
For one, Battle for the Grid, try it out. It's on Game Pass. If you like fighting games, if you want to try to get into fighting games, it's a pretty simple one to start playing. It does have a lot of depth to it, but it doesn't have quite as much mechanical execution to just get started.
Mm.
And it comes back to what I've said many times before, that there are enough fighting game players to support 3 games, and there are 50 new fighting games released every year.
Yeah.
But which is sad. The only games that you can actually hop online and without going into a fucking Discord and fighting people who've been playing the game for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
The only games you can really play are fucking Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and maybe Dragon Ball, at least when it released. But let's talk about these Street Fighter characters, because this is fucking neat. I like this. I will say, I don't love that every fucking fighting game needs to have Street Fighter in it.
Yeah.
How many game crossovers have there been in fighting games? And how many of those are Street Fighter?
Oh,
And especially how many of those are Ryu? I guess Tekken got Akuma. Fucking, I think Ryu was in Soul Calibur in one of them.
oh God, was
Ryu's
he?
in Smash.
Ryu's in Smash.
Ryu's in Smash.
Marvel versus Capcom is a thing.
Ugh.
Shut your mouth. That's the one fighting game I like.
There's only one good game in that entire franchise.
The only fighting game that's got Phoenix Wright in it.
It's true.
It's true.
That's true.
That is
He
true.
was,
It's
he
that
was
is-
top tier, and then he got banned.
That is true.
God. But they didn't just fucking bring in the fucking model swap Ryu and Chun-Li into this game. They made them Power Rangers.
Yes, which
And
that's
their
actually
outfit was-
rad.
Their outfits are rad.
Hmm.
They completely like reimagined these characters as Power Rangers. They turned their classic outfits. They're recognizably Chun-Li and Ryu, but they are also Power Rangers with the full fucking getup. And I love that. And their fucking moveset is still here, but made into the Power Rangers game, made to fit in. I love that. I am going to, if it's included in the Game Pass version, if I don't have to pay for it. Because look, I've played like a couple hours of this game. I'm not gonna buy more.
Fair.
I will check this out
All right.
because
Well,
they fucking look so good.
they do. The designs are actually really rad.
Yeah.
Next week,
I'm also
we'll check back in and see what you thought. Maybe.
I think I've watched a grand total of 2 episodes of Power Rangers in my life, and that was
Oh.
probably about 17 years ago.
Uh-huh.
What do they not have Power Rangers in Canada? What is this?
They have Power Rangers in Canada. I just never watched it.
That's fair. It's true. Sheep Shoot gives a point. Fortnite is now a fighting game because it has Ryu. I don't know if that's true, but sure.
That's true legally. That's how it works.
Put Fortnite and Smash.
Yeah, stupid. Yoda says, "Wait, why does Zach have no points? Because I'm the host." Dan gives a point. I legitimately feel that Street Fighter characters, etc., exist only to be loaned to new IPs for cred, and their own games haven't really gotten any more interesting in over a decade. That kind of tracks. I think.
I mean, to be
They have the
like,
effect of like,
yes.
oh, I know that guy.
Sonic
Yeah.
Boom.
Oh god! But to be perfectly fair, at one point Street Fighter did perfect the fighting game, so they don't have to innovate much.
Oh, good point. Good point.
But then 4 happened.
Yeah. Anyways, Wes, it's your turn for the final topic of the show. Bring us home.
Time to take us home. I'm going to talk about Sony getting into mobile games.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I recently have been playing a mobile game a lot, a shitty gacha game.
Okay.
The Dragon Quest gacha game. Mostly just because I love
Oh,
Dragon Quest and I love Akira Toriyama art, so
Got it.
it fulfills that very much for me. But I'm gonna say something very controversial. I don't think mobile games inherently are bad.
No,
That might not be controversial.
Yeah, I'm not going to
but-
disagree.
It's
with
not controversial
that.
at all. But I feel like a lot of people are like, I feel like a lot of people are like, mobile games fucking immediately
Mhm.
exit out. They're done. Not even going to entertain the idea.
Right.
The one thing about this particular topic that makes me a little bit more receptive is that they aren't taking away, as of now, team members from other studios to
To make
head
this.
this mobile division. They're
Mhm.
hiring new staff. They're
Mhm.
getting they're specifically looking for people that they have not already gotten in the company to
Mhm.
come on to fill these positions. Which is fine. If they want to spend more of their money to make more mobile games, then that's great, because I'm looking at some of the mobile games that they're calling mobile games, and some of them I actually really enjoy. Supermassive, the people who made Until Dawn, they had a game called Hidden Agenda,
Yeah.
PlayStation Mobile's app, the PlayStation Mobile app,
Mhm.
and it was really fun. It was like playing a Supermassive game like Until Dawn or what's the
Man of
man
Medan.
man of Medan? Yeah, the new games,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a game that you played where everybody had like a little hidden role on their phones, and they'd kind of influence the story secretly,
Mm-hmm.
which was really cool and a very cool idea. Also, Erica, that other kind of super massive-y game, but made by Flavorworks. So if Sony is interested in making really cool games that kind of link with their IPs already,
Mm-hmm.
sort of like what not s- but different, but like what Jackbox Games does. Those are in essence like kind of mobile games. They use cellular devices. They use your phone
Mm-hmm.
to interact. Like you cannot play those games without your phones.
Mm-hmm.
So if part of this new division is creating those kinds of games where it's creating sort of like a party environment to use with everyone's cell phones in a room, I'm really excited about that because I could see a lot of potential for more of these kind of cinematic games that use your cell phone. And if not, then we also have potential just to see, again, if they're not taking team members away from other studios, then you could just see mobile versions of games that you already like, and they'll probably be for free. And you can try it and then delete it in a week because it's probably not going to be that great, but it's not hurting anything. So who
Right.
cares?
Right. I mean,
And eventually we'll find the Last of Us mobile game, and you'll have to
God.
sneak into your neighbor's backyard to pick up the bandages and scissors that are
The
hiding there
Last
that
of
you need
Us
to craft.
remake mobile game, please.
Yeah,
you-
no,
you-
that is the Last of Us remake that they're not telling you. It's the mobile game version of the Last of Us.
Last of Us
and
Remobile.
in the game, you get to kill the last person who owns a Vita on your phone.
You get, it's just an AR event where you hunt them down. Like the animals they are.
It tells you where all the Vitas remaining in the world are, and you have to destroy them.
all the Vitas send out a signal.
See, that's Hideo Kojima making a mobile game.
That is
and
kind of
I'm
radical.
all for that.
Shit, I actually want that now.
Kojima presents Hunt the Vita experience.
Because Vita means life.
Exactly.
And you have to snuff out life.
Will in the chat gives Wes a point for saying the words Dragon Quest, a game I'm pretty sure Will has never played.
He has actually.
He's been playing Dragon Quest.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I missed it then. Well, I'm glad for you, Will.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're gonna see some gacha games for sure. I have to imagine.
100%.
Sony's like, oh, I can just slap on any old franchise I own and make it a gacha game, and Wales will pay for it.
Now let me
Yeah.
float you this one. What if it's a turn-based game, but it's PlayStation All-Stars
All-Stars?
Battle? Yeah, where you're getting
You get that
gotcha
I don't
of
want
all
that.
of the
That
characters.
5-star
Don't-
Parappa the
don't want
Rappa.
that.
Exactly.
That 6-star S+ Goofy.
He did it, folks.
God,
He got
There,
us.
it's back.
He got
Throwing
us.
away all of his points,
3
folks.
Goofy references in one stream.
No, that doesn't. The other ones didn't count. That does mean,
Oh!
David, Elise, and Chris, it's time to go home and become family men because this week's winner is Wes.
Hey, baby!
Wes, are you ready for your minute to win it to talk about whatever you'd like for a whole minute?
Yeah.
All right, take it away.
So, I'll just use this as another opportunity to go ahead and plug my other podcast that I'm doing. It's called Stranger Than Fan Fiction. It's me and 3 of my good buddies. All of us are professional actors, and we're very new to the fan fiction world, but there is just such an incredible wealth of writing talent that we discover. And every week we basically pick a fan fiction that is either written particularly well or deals with fandoms that we're particularly invested in. We read it over the course of our like 30 to 45-minute show and talk about it, make some jokes, dick around for like a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. We have new episodes going up every Friday. around like 3 o'clock. And we also have a bunch of extra content that we're releasing periodically as well, like follow-up episodes where we read sequels to stuff that we really liked, episodes where we just kind of talk about shit that we like that's unrelated to fan fiction. So it's really cool. If you're interested, you like nerd culture, you like hearing like super dramatic readings of ridiculous fan fiction. And one thing I do want to make sure, I want to reiterate this. This is not a podcast to make fun of fan fiction. This is a podcast to celebrate some really incredible authors that are going unappreciated. So we have a lot of fun finding really, really awesome work that we want to celebrate. So yeah, if you like fandom, fan fiction, nerd stuff, acting, please check it out. It's Stranger Than Fan Fiction. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you get podcasts.
Yeah, I can. Oh, Magnus. No, he says yeah, he says I love Stranger Than Fan Fiction. No, I have listened to several episodes of the show. It is fantastic. Sibylla in the chat also says that they've listened to several episodes and they love it as well. So
we're also going to be we're going to be doing YouTube soon. Taking a page from Save Data Team.
I was to say, coming for our lunch money, huh? Important things to plug. Yes, Wes also, you might recognize him from our Ace Attorney streams. Those are on Wednesdays, go up the very following Mondays and Tuesdays. Those are absolutely fantastic if you want to hear some great voice acting and funny jokes. Also important, super important, especially if you're watching this live or if you're watching this tomorrow on Friday the 16th, we are doing a 10-hour stream to celebrate, I guess at this point, nearly reaching 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is absolutely crazy. Thank you all so much for that.
I mean, listen, it was 425 and now we're almost to 30 before we could do the stream, all right?
Exactly. It was we were going to do for 25,000 and then we grew like 3,000 in a very short amount of time. So 4,000, I guess, because we're at 20.
When you post a Zelda video, these things tend to happen.
Yeah, right. But yeah, we have a whole schedule for that planned. That is all in our Discord or on, I think, all of our social medias now. I've posted it there, so go check that out. Please tune in for that. We have games with fans. We're going to be doing giveaways again, and just a heck of a lot more fun. We have some special guests planned, so tune in for that. It's going to be great. Other things to plug. David or Chris?
I guess just our most recent episode of Save Datacast is on YouTube and podcast services all over the place. We decide who would be on the Avengers of video games because the Avengers actual video game is horrible. So is Mario Captain America? No, but it's in the thumbnail.
Yep. That's how you get him. That's how you get him.
Look, it was on the internet, okay?
No, he'd be Captain Italy.
See, I said he's not American, and they were like, he can be American, he can be Italian American. He's from the fucking Mushroom Kingdom. he's not a U.S. citizen. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. Have you seen his green card?
Mario got here illegally. There, I said it.
Yeah, and Spyro's not fucking a billionaire, but we
didn't go with Spyro. We went with
Elise, your argument for why Spyro should be Iron Man was that Spyro breathes fire, which canonically is not something Iron Man does.
That was it. It was just fireballs.
Oh, if you find us on Patreon, you don't have to. All of our content is free and will always be free. But if you want to, you can support us on Patreon. You get some free, cool bonus shit, such as access to the #secret channel on our Discord. What's in there? Who's to know?
It is actually a pretty dope project that we probably should tell people at some point because I think it will.
I need to have more of it done.
At that point, it won't be secret anymore. It's secret for now.
That's fair.
When it eventually bleeds into the regular Discord, then we'll start to tell people about it.
Fair. Elise, anything you'd like to plug?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Well, that is going to do it for another episode of Around the Monitor. So until next time, this has been Around the Monitor.